And this is what I've always told people, and I've said this to many streamers. My best bit of advice for streamers is never tell the audience how you feel, and like, you know, like emotional troubles and like, you know, mental hurdles, things like this. Never talk to people about this. Never talk to your audience about this, because people will never understand. It will only lead them to resent you. And yes, this is a very black pill perspective, and you know what? I think it's true. And so that's what it is. And so never tell people how you feel. I think every single time that a streamer opens up about some mental problem that they have, about something like this, I think that it only serves to make it worse. I do. I really believe that. Now, I think on some level, it's like you have things like, you know, the situation I had with my mom, or the situation that, you know, I had like growing up, right? For example. And obviously, like, you know, my dad likes to remind me, my dad grew up poorer than I did, okay? And, you know, basically, he likes to always remind me, he's like, yeah, I had it worse. And it's like, yes, Pa, you did have it worse, but it sucked for me too sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, like these types of things are more relatable, but whenever you talk about problems like feeling sad whenever you have a lot of money, this is just simply not going to get sympathy from people. It's just not. And it doesn't matter about like what makes sense. It doesn't matter about like, oh, well, depression is like a chemical imbalance in your brain. None of these things play any impact on people's perception of this. And the more that you realize that, the better that you're going to be off, because you stop looking for people that are going to resent you as a support group. I think that's a bad idea, and I think it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for the audience, it's unhealthy for the streamer, and it just in general makes everything worse. So yeah, that's the way I see it, because money solves our problems. But see, like, what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what you think. Like I've always said this, haven't I? I've said it never matters what's true, it only matters how people feel. And that's it. Most people won't feel sorry for your issues. Look at the current case of Johnny Depp, who went from being bad guy to victim. Many still don't feel anything for him. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people, well, with the Johnny Depp thing, I think it's a little bit different, because you can literally see, like, her hitting him and like stabbing him and stuff like this. So it's much more relatable, because it's not something that's just like a mental struggle, that there's very clear, you know, physical violence going on, right? And, you know, things like this happening, like you have like, there's like voice recordings, etc. So there's no way, it's not like this guy is depressed or something like that. He's getting repressed. And so it's different. And, usually reading negative comments, streams only increase the number of negative comments overall. Hassan learned this the hard way. Oh yeah, I just delete most of them. I don't really worry about it too much. But anyway, all I'm really trying to say here is that, you know, my advice for like any streamer is to try to keep as much of this stuff closer to the belt as possible. It's dangerous to talk about your personal life. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, chat are essentially customers and not your therapist. Yeah, I think that's one way to say it. And like 90% of people are going to agree, and they're gonna say like, yeah, you know what, I'm so sorry you feel that way. You know, we're here for you, man. We love you. But the 10% of people that don't are gonna make it not worth it. Yeah, because they're going to make you feel like shit, and you're going to just wish that you never talked about it. And that's generally what my advice is, right? It's just there are too many people like that, and it's just not really worth doing. And obviously, you know, some people are different. Nothing is for sure certain. And obviously, some people have different experiences. But that's what, why not ban them? Because even in the process of banning them, you're acknowledging them. So one thing that's more insidious, we talk about this a little bit more, right? I don't want to get into this too much, but we'll talk about it a little bit more, is that the insidious nature of reading comments online is the fact that you read them in your own voice. You read them in your own mind. You're not being told this, you're telling yourself this. And so you fundamentally, and just by the nature of what the comment is, you are internalizing this language. So you are telling yourself these things. And I think that's why they're bad, is that even if you ban the people, you're still reading the comments because you had to read them to know if you had to ban them in the first place. You see kind of what I'm saying? And so there's some Buddhist shit right there. Well, I think about this a lot, you know, like I spend a lot of time on the internet, you know, it kind of makes sense that I would think about this. So yes, I think that internet comments and things like this do become very insidious because they cause people to actually question themselves, because it's much easier to internalize the negative criticism. Yeah, that's the way that I see it. And what do you mean read with your own voice, hear while you read? Well, I mean, whenever you're reading something, you're not reading it in their voice because it's a text. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I don't know. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory where I'm trying to get at. And yeah, in general, I thought I was just leaving the house where all his friends are and going back home. Well, then I could be totally wrong. But I think this is just something that, you know, I've noticed a lot of times in many other streamers too, is this has happened. And it fucking sucks, man. It definitely does.